Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fusion Industry Association channel. My name is Sid Cowley. I'm a PhD student studying at the University of York and working at the Cullum Center for Fusion Energy. Today is Friday, the 25th of March, and I'm here to give you your weekly fusion news roundup. Stories today include 1. To help tackle climate crisis, White House touts nuclear fusion. 2. A nuclear fusion device pushes plasma to a record-breaking 100 million degrees. 3. Can this scientist solve the world's energy crisis? 4. German startup aims to generate unlimited clean fusion energy with lasers. And as always, there'll be some bonuses at the end as well. 1. To help tackle climate crisis, White House touts nuclear fusion. Our first story comes from Scientific American and covers a really historic summit hosted by the White House on nuclear fusion. The summit included speakers from the government, research institutions, and private industry, all talking together about the promises and challenges for fusion energy ahead. One crucial aspect of this summit was the US government laying out its interest and commitment in nuclear fusion research. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm announced a $45 million funding package for the US Department of Energy to work with private companies, and she also announced the appointment of Dr. Scott Hsu as the new fusion energy coordinator. Granholm said, "We have to act on climate change so our country can win the 21st century economy. And that's what fusion helps to present us with. Tremendous opportunities as well as challenges, we know." Stephen Cowley, head of the Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory, echoed this potential for fusion to fit in a post-carbon grid, stating, "We need firm energy resources, ones that you can turn on when the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine." In addition, the summit featured panel discussions from leading Fusion Industry Association members, who talked about the status of the fusion industry and what they'd like to see from government, manufacturers, and regulators in order to achieve economically viable fusion as soon as possible. With regards to where private fusion is approaching, Andrew Holland, our own CEO of the Fusion Industry Association, said that we call this our Kitty Hawk moment. Not the time where you sell the airplane, but the time when the airplane flies. During the summit, key fusion milestones of 2021 were also highlighted, including the creation for the first time of a burning plasma in the National Ignition Facility, the long 17-minute high-temperature pulse achieved by the Chinese Tokamak East, and of course, the 59 megajoules of fusion energy achieved by the Joint European Torus in the UK. Now, as someone who watched the live stream as it was happening last week, I must say it was so exciting to see so many people of different backgrounds talking about fusion in such a public forum and in such an exciting, enthusiastic way. If you missed the live stream, it is available on YouTube and the link will be in the description. 2. A nuclear fusion device pushes plasma to a record-breaking 100 million degrees. The second article covers a scientific record achieved by Tokamak Energy, a UK-based fusion firm and a member of the Fusion Industry Association. For those of you who don't know, Tokamak Energy is a company aiming to bring fusion energy to the grid through high-temperature superconducting spherical tokamaks. Now, using their current device, ST40, Tokamak Energy was recently able to achieve a plasma temperature of 100 million degrees Celsius. Now, for those of you who have been watching our videos for a while, you may be thinking, I think 100 million degree plasma temperatures have actually been achieved before. And you'd be right. These temperatures have been achieved by large public projects such as the Joint European Torus in the UK or the Korean superconducting tokamak K-Star. But what makes these results from Tokamak Energy so impressive is that this is the record temperature for any spherical tokamak and any privately funded tokamak, period. What's more, this high temperature plasma has been achieved with remarkable efficiency. ST40 was built by Tokamak Energy in only 5 years and with a budget less than $70 million. And it's a small machine as well, with a major radius of only 40 centimeters. Compare this to JET in the UK, which cost around $500 million in today's money to build and has a major radius of 3 meters. It's easy to see the remarkable efficiency and compactness of Tokamak Energy's machine. The article then goes on to explain that Tokamak Energy will be building ST-HTS, the world's first spherical tokamak that will use high-temperature superconducting magnets rather than the traditional copper-conducting magnets. ST-HTS is expected to be commissioned during the mid-2020s and will inform the design of Tokamak Energy's world-first spherical tokamak fusion power plant. 3. Can this scientist solve the world's energy crisis? This next article is a fantastic long piece in the Times newspaper in the UK, covering the fundamentals of nuclear fusion and one private company in particular trying to achieve it. The company is First Light Fusion, a UK-based startup and an FIA member using large gas guns to fire a projectile onto a fusion fuel target, compressing the target to incredibly high densities and temperatures needed for fusion. In this article, the Times scientific editor, Ben Spencer, recounts his experience touring the facilities of First Light Fusion and meeting their CEO, Nick Hawker. He gets to observe the so-called Big Gun, great name, fire a tiny 38mm projectile at 20 times the speed of sound. The real power of this device is on show when he sees the gun chamber itself, weighing 2.5 tons, jolt back when the projectile is fired. Overall, I found this a very interesting piece on the hands-on experience of a reporter investigating an exciting fusion company, the exciting CEO behind that company, Nick Hawker. 4. German startup aims to generate unlimited clean fusion energy with lasers. Our final main story today covers the German-based private company and Fusion Industry Association member Marvel Fusion and their method of trying to achieve economic nuclear fusion. To understand where Marvel's approach fits in the broader landscape of fusion, the article introduces the two main camps, or as the article puts it, religions of fusion. The first method, magnetic confinement fusion, is a more tried and tested method that uses strong magnetic fields to confine and stabilize a fusion plasma, and can be seen in devices such as tokamaks or stellarators. The second, inertial confinement fusion, is based on compressing fusion fuel pellets to incredibly high densities and temperatures for short periods of time. This method is often viewed as a less developed technology, although having said that, last year, the National Ignition Facility achieved a burning plasma through inertial confinement fusion. But despite being viewed as a generally less technologically ready approach, the article highlights that ICF offers a tremendous opportunity for radical, potentially game-changing approaches. This is where Marvel Fusion fits in, as its aim is to leverage recent breakthroughs in laser technology to compress and heat a hydrogen-boron fusion fuel pellet. This fuel mixture is also unorthodox, since the typical fuel mixture is deuterium-tritium rather than hydrogen-boron. But hydrogen-boron could present a lot of advantages as well. It doesn't produce a lot of neutrons, which can help with dealing with radioactive waste. Now, Marvel Fusion is currently in a relatively early stage of development and recognizes the risks of their new approach. But as a professor of nuclear engineering at Berkeley, Edward Morse, puts it, that's what venture capitalist money people like. Something that's radical enough, it just might work. Right, well, that's all for our main stories today. I'm very happy to be able to share quite a few bonus stories with you today. And the first is a video on the Tokamak Energy YouTube channel, just highlighting the recent 100 million degree plasma temperature record, how they achieved and measured that. I think it's a really great video. There are a lot of interesting shots of ST40 and ST40 being built, and of course some cool interviews with people who work at Tokamak Energy on how they made this record and how they measured it and made sure it was correct as well. For our second bonus story, there's a great piece on Richard Buttery, the director of D3D, a US-based fusion national lab. And for our final bonus today, the Fusion Industry Association is hosting its first annual policy conference in Washington, D.C. next week on March 30th. You can find out more and sign up to attend in person on the Fusion Industry Association website. Of course, we'll link this in the description. Right, well, that's all for Fusion News this week. I really hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel, or check out our Fusion News Extra podcast as well. If you enjoyed any of the stories in particular and want to read up more, as always, their links will be in the description. Right, well, that's it. Thanks for watching.